There's no sports league unlike it anywhere in the world, where cartoons and football come together. This is the United States Cartoon Football League, celebrating its 40th anniversary.
Let's get ready to rumble! You hear the screeching of it all, you hear the wind begin to howl. You know there's armies on the prowl, and it's terror time again. They got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time. You hear the beating of your heart, you know the scream is gonna start. Here comes the really scary part. Yes, it's terror time again. They got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time. All the trees begin to moan, and the monsters grunt and groan, rotting faces full of slime. Don't you know it's terror time? Yes, it's terror time again. They got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
Now that we're here, why are we here?
We're going to reconstruct the disappearance of Crunch Connors.
Then we might find out what happened to him.
And who's gonna be dumb enough to be Crunch?
Yeah, who?
Hi, Crunch.
Greetings, cartoon and football fans, and especially fans of Scooby-Doo. This is Bob Mozark of the USCFL Network, welcoming you to a brand new competition. This time we are pitting Scooby-Doo episodes made before the year 2000 against Scooby-Doo episodes made after the year 2000. Like we did with the She-Ra episode runoffs, we will once again use football scoring for each episode. This is a 16-round competition. Here are the criteria for this tournament. All 5 Mystery Incorporated characters must appear in each episode. Episodes featuring just Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy-Doo are ineligible, as are episodes with Daphne's reintroduction to the gang. Shows like 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Scooby Get a Clue are also ineligible. We don't have Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episodes, therefore that series too is ineligible. So are any direct-to-video movies and any TV special that was more than 30 minutes long. The 8 intros you saw at the beginning of this video are the eligible series. After 5 rounds, Scooby-Doo after 2000 leads Scooby-Doo before 2000, 34-33. After a brief pause, we will begin round 6 of Scooby-Doo B2K versus Scooby-Doo A2K. Be Cool Scooby-Doo Season 1, Episode 5, Grand Scam. The episode opens in the stadium of the Middletown Gypsy Moths, a baseball team. A nervous player is at bat and spots a ghostly glowing player before anyone else does. The scene ends as the ghostly player grabs the pitcher. After the opening, the Scooby Gang arrives at the stadium, which is where Shaggy was known as a superfan. Velma is at first uninterested, but Daphne points out the importance of statistics in baseball, and Velma is now very enthusiastic. As the gang enters the stadium, they meet the mascot, who has decided to quit because of the ghost. The gang then goes to see the team owner, Jack Turner, who identifies the ghost as Chip Braverton, an all-star player from the early days of the sport and the greatest gypsy moth of all time. Turner explains that because of the ghost, he will be forced to sell the stadium. He tells the gang that if they can solve the mystery that night, he will be able to keep the stadium. Surprisingly, Shaggy takes the lead on solving the mystery, even vowing not to eat until he has done so, to Scooby's great dismay. Daphne appears in the costume of the team mascot, and Fred is less than thrilled and for once sends Daphne off with Shaggy and Scooby when the team splits up. Fred and Velma search the building and meet Dustin Walsworth, the facilities manager, who was briefly a gypsy moth of no great success. Walsworth introduces them to Georgia, the elderly team organist. Georgia reminisces about having known Braverton when she was young, and she even plays them a song she wrote about him. In the dugout, Daphne and Shaggy spot some odd glowing tracks. As they enter the tunnel to the locker room, the ghost appears and chases them onto the field. Fred and Velma enter the announcer's booth and give Daphne and Shaggy directions to help them elude the ghost. Daphne attacks the ghost with the pitching machine, and he hits a few balls. Daphne poses as an umpire and buys the others enough time to escape. Shaggy takes the others to the Hall of Fame, where they look for clues about Braverton. Velma is now excited about all of the different statistics that she can learn. The lights of the stadium go out, but the gang have their trusty flashlights. There's another chase scene, which is funnier because Georgia plays a jazzy tune wailing away on different instruments. The chase ends with the capture of the ghost, who is revealed to be Dustin, the facilities manager, who was still angry because he had been cut from the team. We will now pause briefly before we come back and provide the scores for the two teams. Scooby-Doo Show, Season 1, Episode 14, The Ghost That Sacked the Quarterback. Scooby and the gang are watching a football game with their favorite team, the Hawks. Flash Granger, the Hawks star player, scores the winning touchdown, but as he is carried off the field by his teammates, he disappears in a cloud of smoke. A ghostly football player appears and threatens his vengeance. The gang goes to the home of the team's owner, Mr. Prentice, who explains that the ghost is the spirit of a famous player from the 1930s who was known as the Rambling Ghost. When his bad play led to him being booed out of the stadium, he swore vengeance. When the team watches a practice session back at the stadium, They are warned off by Crunch Connors, a player who then mysteriously disappears at the same place that Flash did. When the gang splits up to look for clues, Shaggy and Scooby find a newspaper clipping in the locker room. However, before they can take it to the others, the Rambler appears and snatches it away. The gang sees the Rambler enter the scoreboard room and follow it. There they find the scoreboard operator, the elderly Mr. Ellsworth, sitting dazed at the console. He tells them that the Rambler had attacked them. A player named Bulldog shows up and says that he too saw the Rambler enter the scoreboard room. The gang then goes down to the playing field and discover an old tunnel that leads to the remains of the old stadium on which the new stadium was built. There they find Flash and Crunch. They also find the newspaper clipping. After fearing the two, the gang sets up a trap and finally captures the Rambler. There is a double unmasking. The Rambler is first revealed as Mr. Ellsworth and then as Buck Bender, an old coach who had been fired by Mr. Prentice. The clipping would have revealed who he was. We will now briefly pause before reviewing the Be Cool Scooby-Doo episode Grand Scam. There weren't much in the way of clues in the Ghost That Sacked the Quarterback episode. It was more about escaping from the Rambler when he appeared and then trapping him. There was a lot of slapstick comedy. For example, Scooby's nose extended into the scoreboard room to sniff for clues, while Scooby remained safely outside. I give this episode a solid 7 points. Grand Scam had a number of important clues scattered throughout it, but most of the statistical clues you would have needed to freeze the frame in order to see them. Other clues were more apparent, such as Braverton batting right-handed while Dustin and the Ghost were lefties. Because of the need to freeze frame, I only give this episode a 6, even though I liked it better. This brings the running total to a tie after 6 rounds, with Scooby after 2000 and Scooby before 2000 both having 40 points. As always, viewers are welcome to submit their own reviews and scores. Tune in next week to find out which team will pull ahead. This is Bob Mozart from the USCFL Network signing off, and have a good week.